We seem to have another Tails episode this time named Tails' New Home, in which we presumably get to see what eventually becomes Tails' workshop from Sonic Adventure. We start with the chase between Tails and Grounder. Right away, I like the background and sky look very different from anything we've seen so far, and I like it a lot. One of the best scenes in the show so far visually. Tails stops and says that Grounder is going to catch him. Of course he will. You stopped. Grounder somehow fails this monumentally simple task, but Sketch manages to eat in instead. Does this count as the obligatory entrapment? Not sure, but we were robbed of it last time. Unless you count the scientist, and I'm a bit impatient. Spoiler alert though, there's another scene that is objectively entrapment, and it is of Tails, so make that what you will. Sonic shows up, doesn't free Tails, but instead hitches a ride on Grounder while eating a meal of chicken. Sonic gets Grounder to crash.
I'm waiting!
Grounder doesn't deserve this. Scratch is still trying to catch Tails when Sonic comes back to cut the line, but he should have done the first time. Tails escapes naturally. The crash lanes due to Scratch being launched into the tree Tails is resting in. Sonic sees this and panics. You know the trope of someone uncharacteristically becoming hyper-paranoid and not letting someone else do anything else due to a perceived vulnerability to them? Yeah, we're going there, and it's played completely straight. Tails is let out of his cast and put up for adoption by Sonic. I just read that, and I'm not sure I understand. Tails doesn't seem to want this. Look at him! Especially from these potential parent storks. The first thing they did is set their house on fire. Then the other stork slips on a rug and scares the family goldfish so bad she writes her last will and swallows it in fear. Okay, they gotta laugh out at me. Luckily, Sonic stops both disasters from going too far as the poor goldfish begs for its life. This poor fish, I'm so sorry. Don't feel too bad for it though, as once it gets out of the bowl, it pulls out a briefcase and walks out. I don't know if my standards have fallen or if the show has actually gotten funnier, but everything in the scene has landed amazing. One more disaster flood and destroys their homes. Tails is so scared that he thinks that Robotnik would be a better adoptive parent than these storks, and I agree. The second family is that of a military sergeant. This goes exactly how you think it does. Sonic and Tails quickly retreat. Tails clearly wants to forget the whole idea and forget about finding a family, but Sonic holds firm. Scratch and Grounder catch on and send an advert out about Tails' parents missing him. This causes Sonic and Tails to effectively reverse roles as Sonic becomes hesitant as Tails is gung-ho about going to meet them, despite them obviously being dolls. They get there right away and somehow actually manage to do their best job of anyone so far. Sonic is upset about this for some reason. Isn't this exactly what you wanted? Though he does relent and decide to leave Tails with the dolls, which are being remote controlled by Scratch, Grounder, and Robotnik. Hey, it's the first time we've seen Robotnik in this episode. He's so proud of himself he gives himself a promotion. Something so dumb it can only come from this show. It's dumb fun though. I get why this became a meme in some circles way back when. The dolls ditch the illusion and reveal their true form as badniks, not dolls, which also means they were not being remote controlled. Okay, I'm sorry, I guess I got that part wrong. Meanwhile, Sonic reminisces about how he met Tails. The story goes, Tails fell from the sky on Sonic's head as a baby because he thought he was a bird. It's dumb. It's very dumb. But it's fun dumb. Again. I'm pretty sure this is the first time he's been called Miles in the show too, though he says he hates the name. Sonic catches onto the inconsistency of the parents calling him Tails as well and goes to investigate. Robotnik and Co set a trap for Sonic in the house, but of course Sonic shows up, in disguise, avoiding the trap. Sonic claims the threat is invalid because there's many errors in the letter, and begins to wonder if this was before the era of Robotnik having an IQ of 300 as well. Sonic threatens Tails to leave or else he would expose his real name, something that immediately Tails reacts to as he quickly destroys the wall in an attempt to flee. I'll skip the battle sequence as not much happens of substance, but needless to say, Robotnik falls for his own trap and the robots fall for Sonic's male disguise again. The episode ends with the two deciding that they are each other's family. A cute sentiment that has aged very, very badly over the years, but this is fine in a vacuum. Sonic says it's about running away from home, but forget that, Cool Kid is here! You weren't even in the episode! I guess you aren't bolts yet at least. It also feels like a weird choice to use him given how abusive Robotnik has been towards the robots. I get the roster is limited, but this doesn't feel right to me. All in all, the episode is another middle of the pack. Nothing stands out in either direction. I probably won't remember this episode to exist by the time I start working on the next video, which is depressing because I plan on working on the next video in like 2 hours. Until next time, take care, stay safe, and have a good one. Bye bye!